You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall, delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, picking any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. CWall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your weekly DC Sports edition. And I am your host, CWall. Whew. Wow. Feel like every week it's just, listen, have I said this in a while? Why do I feel like, listen, it's just so much going on that I feel like I missed out on one of our mantras. And that is, when is there a dull moment in DC sports? And that would be never. Let's say that in a while. So if anyone needed an update, you just got one. So I see everyone is checking in. Thanks for hanging out with your girl CWall. You all. Let's say hello to everybody, and everyone's checking in. A lot to discuss from the Mystics. We have Mystics update. We have a Caps update, the Washington Wizards, and the Washington football team. And we want to make sure we get through all of these topics as much as we can. But of course, there's some housekeeping items we have to take care of. If you have checked in on the chat, you also need to check in on the show. Make sure you are liking, hit the like button, hit the love button. Make sure you do those things so that you're checked in, and I can make sure I shout you all out, as well as make sure you are sharing this show with your DC sports loving family and friends. Have to make sure that we say what's up to the CWall team that makes this thing happen each and every single week. So has everyone said hello to Joy that makes sure that the chat is facilitated. And my mama is on here somewhere, as she always is. So make sure you all say hello to Mama Waller. And I see other fans. I see DJ. I see Devin the Dude. I see Damon. I think I saw Tina Moore check in. I saw Cameron Mingo check in. So make sure you all are hitting that like and love button and sharing this show with your DC sports loving family and friends. You all, are you ready to get into this week's updates? So up first, let's go Washington Mystics. So today, the Washington Mystics announced their season schedule, and they did it in such fly fashion. I was like, okay, Mystics, okay. Let me share you all their season announcement video.
"25 years. 25 years filled with challenges. And with triumphs. With memories and with moments you'll never forget. This season is different. This season is special. This season is 25 years in the making.
So, pretty cool video put out by the Washington Mystics organization. So, let's take a quick look at the calendar for the Mystics. You can keep, as you see, an overarching theme is the 25th anniversary. So the team opens up at home on May 6th versus Indiana. Some highlights for the season. Washington plays the Las Vegas Aces on May the 10th. Dallas Wings, May 13th. The WNBA champion Chicago Sky, May 22nd. And Atlanta Dream, May 24th. So that's all of kind of the Mystics games at the Entertainment and Sports Arena during the month of May. Then they have quite a few afternoon games. Their longest homestand will be July 30th through August the 2nd, when they'll see Seattle twice and Las Vegas. So just a few updates there. Get excited. I tell folks all the time, if you have not had an opportunity to check in on a Mystics game at the Entertainment and Sports Arena, I feel like you need to do that. You absolutely need to do that. They ball out, straight up, ball out. So check them out. Enjoy the season. Listen, the fact that they are already putting out the season schedule lets everyone know you have ample time to plan to get up in the building and get your tickets. Okay? So you all got the information. You have the information right here on Culture from the Couch. So you all, for our Caps update, this segment is brought to you all by Roof Max. So definitely want to shout out Roof Max. Roof Max adds years of life to your current roof and saves you thousands of dollars, only a fraction of the cost of a roof replacement. Minority owned and operated business servicing in the DMV. Go to getroofmax.com for a free assessment. Caps fans, have you checked in? Are the Caps fans all checked in? So here's a couple of updates. You know, the Caps love their rivalry against the Pittsburgh Penguins, so they will be taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins to conclude their homestand on Friday night. Another just quick update that I thought was kind of cool. Shout out to Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson, who I think is many of you all's favorite Washington Capital, is approaching his 600th career game, and he did score his 100th career goal on Monday against the Anaheim Ducks. So definitely want to shout out Tom Wilson. So also, I saw this update by NBC Sports Washington. I thought it was super duper cool. And that is talking about Coach Laviolette in his first 82 games. And I thought, you know what? This is kind of cool. So in terms of the best records through 82 games in franchise history, Coach Laviolette has like the best record out of the first 82 games, being 51, 19, and 11, and having a total of 113 points. So I thought that was kind of cool. I said, you know what? While everybody's not paying attention, Coach Laviolette is out here kind of trying to do his thing a bit. So, hey, I'm with it. So while we're not paying attention, always make sure you kind of check out the Caps, because that lets you know that, hey, what's one of the things I say too? The numbers don't lie. If he's got a great record as a head coach, let's see how this works in terms of playoffs, because we know at that time the Caps get kind of stale in the playoffs, but nonetheless, Coach is coming up with the numbers. So let's keep watching. Let's keep watching. But I thought that was important to note because the Caps haven't had much traction in the playoffs in recent years. I had to say, wait a minute. If Coach in the first 82 games is the winningest coach in franchise history, or one of just the first 82, I feel like that is worth updating and sharing with everybody. It's important. So let's keep our eyes on it, Caps fans. Next up, Wizards fans. Now, before we get into the Wizards, tonight's Wizards update is brought to you by Modern-ish. So we're getting ready to share the Modern-ish commercial. And while we're sharing the commercial, make sure you are tagging in your Wizards family and friends, because there's a lot to discuss from a Wizards perspective. And make sure you're sharing this show in the Wizards group so they can take part in this conversation. So are the Wizards fans all checked in and ready to go? All checked in and ready to go. So I see some Wizards fans checking in. So listen, I see comments here already about the game. First things first, there are some game notes and team notes that I want to share that I think, are valid and kind of important, but we're going to get to some things. Right? So Washington, they're 3-0 in overtime this season. Okay. They're actually 11-0 on the season when leading after the third quarter. So let's pay attention to the scoreboard after the third quarter. If they're in the lead after the third quarter, that's a good sign. Okay. Now the Wizards have come back to win from a double-digit deficit in 5 games this season. So in 5 games this season, the Wizards have shown they do have the ability to come back. They out-rebounded the Pistons 45-37. I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool. Kyle Kuzma definitely enjoyed himself with that game-winning shot in front of his hometown audience. So shout out to Kyle Kuzma. Another player note on him is that Kuzma has made at least 3 3-pointers in 9 games this season, tied with last season for the most in his career through the first 26 games of the season. Kuzma has now scored 20-plus points in 5 games this season. Notes on Daniel Gafford. I was a little hard on Daniel Gafford, but he's doing an excellent job. I really like Daniel Gafford. He notched a team-high 10 rebounds, 7 points, and 6 blocks. 48 blocks so far on the season. Now, quick trivia question. So, the 48 blocks so far this season are the most by a Wizards player through 26 games in a season since who? Since who? I might have to check and see what you all say. I want to know who you're thinking. Since who? And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I had to kind of laugh. So, since who? Nobody can guess? Since JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee is who the other player is that, and I had to laugh. I said, oh, okay, let's see. So let me switch over to a quote from Coach's last presser. Soon as the presser kicked off, he addressed a few things. Check this out.
Down 14, up 15, and overtime?
Yeah, I'm happy for our guys. Obviously, we needed to get that win. Obviously, a hard fought game. You go into overtime. Up I think 13 with 6 minutes to play, and that's where we kind of let our guard down a little bit. Had a couple of defensive lapses, bad turnovers, and then we had shots that didn't fall. So the combination of those 3, and all of a sudden you got a ball game. So just trying to find a way when we find ourselves in those situations to just pull away with it. And I told those guys, you know what, I got to help them, because there's a situation where we had a timeout and we got the ball in, but it led to a turnover. You know, if I take the timeout, maybe it'll help get us organized a bit. And we had a foul to give, and we didn't take it. It wound up being free throws. So keeping those guys organized on both ends in those special situations, I think will benefit us going forward.
Interesting comments from Coach. As you all know, with the win against the Detroit Pistons, the Wizards were on a bit of a losing streak. They had lost three in a row. And here's one thing. I had in a conversation that I was having with Coach Unseld Jr. just a couple of weeks ago at a team event. We were chatting about his emotions and if he gets anxious, how he's feeling. And at the time, no, he didn't at that time. But in terms of the win against the Pistons, and in general, he shared this simply with me. He didn't call me CWall, because some people, they know me as CWall and they know me as my name, Candy. And he said, Candy, here's the thing. There's no such thing as a bad win. I said, well, they could be ugly though, right, Coach? He was like, yeah, they absolutely could be ugly, but it's not bad. A win is always good. So I said, I got you. That's where the term a win is a win comes from, right? So with that being said, true. I'm a take Coach's advice. There's no such thing as a bad win. But there's definitely some things that you can be concerned about with the team. Now, typically, I don't make decisions or too many assessments about any team until December. I wait till around December, because about December, you're hitting around 25 games. And we all know, remember, in earlier, just a few weeks ago, Brad made the comment, we're not that good. We're not that good. Coach made a comment about needing to still play up to what whoever their opponent is and being prepared, because as the season goes on, there's more and more film on you. All of the teams are gelling at the beginning of the season. So at some point, some teams are going to catch their stride. And once they catch their stride, then they're going to be on to you. They're going to be more prepared in how to face you defensively and as well as offensively. And I think that is what the Wizards are experiencing. They are experiencing where they're hitting a surge, but now teams are prepared for them. The other thing about it is, one of the things that was making the team so successful is how effective they were on the defensive side of the ball and limited turnovers. You have to limit how much you're turning over the basketball. Have to absolutely limit that. If you're going to, you got to be careful. No sloppiness with the basketball. Keep those things in mind. The teams are going to be even more ready for you next time they see you. By the second time, the third time, the fourth time, you can't say, oh, well, first time they wiped them out. Second time, no big deal. They're going to be ready. Coaching staffs going to be ready. And we're still seeing a team who is consistently trying to still gel. Yes, they were down, and it's always a pleasure to see them come back and win the game. But there still has to be somewhere where they have to adjust early enough where they don't have to fight as hard to come back from such deficits. Because some teams, we've seen this already, they're going to surge and they're going to go out and you're not going to be able to catch them. And we've already seen that happen to the Wizards a couple times this season. So good thing they were able to pull out that win. It's a good thing. They're back at home on Saturday. So we'll see what happens. Continue to watch. I'm going to continue to be watching them closely, as well as the other teams in the league, to seeing how they adjust to the Wizards and what they're also doing against teams that are already being looked at as for sure playoff contenders. It's important. Got to keep our eyes on it because it's still very early in the season. Remember, yes, the regular season ends in April, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. Those who are really trying to, work through these kinks and these issues. They're trying to play until June, not till April. So we'll keep our eyes on it as we always do. More to come on the Washington Wizards. Now, Washington football team fans, check in. And if you have not already checked in with the like or love emoji, you need to do that now. Like, love emoji, and make sure you are sharing this show at this point with your Washington football team. It's still safe to say loving family and friends. Absolutely important to do that. I see folks checking in for sure. So let's start off this conversation with first things first. I'm sure by now you all have seen this clip.
We know what people think of us. We love that. We're comfortable who we are, where we are. But I'm excited about what's in front of us because, we're going to win this game. I'm confident in that and just, the prep that's going into it. But more importantly, we're going to, we want to improve too along the way. So I think that's all part about what the challenge of December football gives you.
I said, ooh, okay, Coach McCarthy, come with the trash talk, man. That's what you're supposed to do. That is what you are supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do with your team. And I already see, hey, listen, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad with it. So listen, just recently after that, Julie Donaldson from the Washington football team, formerly of NBC Sports Washington, she posted her clip of asking Coach Rivera his thoughts on what Coach Mike McCarthy said. Check this out.
Guarantee to win. Going out there and saying Dallas will get this victory. What is your response when you hear a head coach saying that?
I think it's interesting. I don't think it's important. I think that's the big mistake is because as far as I'm concerned, you do that for a couple of reasons. One is you want to get in our head. And so I've told our players, that's interesting. It's not important. What's important is our preparation, getting ready to play on Sunday. Secondly, he's trying to convince his team, So again, I think that's another mistake because he's now made it about him and what he said. It's not about his players anymore. So I think that's the big mistake. That's why, to me, you don't do those things. What you do is you focus in on, you get ready, you play football. We show up on Sunday and we'll see what happens.
Hey, listen. I said, oh, okay, Coach Rivera. Slight shade there, Coach Rivera. Come on through here, Riverboat. I heard that loud and clear. Okay. But hey, look. First of all, what Coach McCarthy said is what you're supposed to say. Now, I don't necessarily think I would have said it because at anything, and as Jonathan Allen said in his press conference today, the only thing that's guaranteed is death and taxes, okay? Death and taxes. See, when you start guaranteeing things, you have to be careful, okay? It's one thing to say it to your players. Once you say it publicly, now, whoa. I get it. I absolutely understand it. Now, would I have done that? No. So, listen. Everybody knows what this particular week means in the history of the rivalry. And of course, everyone was already hyped. We all already know that Washington is on a 4-game winning streak. They're believing, they're hyped. They're ready. They believe that they can beat anybody across the scrimmage line from them. So this is where it is. You hear the head coach of the opposing team guaranteeing a win, and it might get a little, but I can appreciate absolutely Coach Rivera's response to that. I think it's key. I think it's critical. And I think it still keeps the focus on preparing, doing your job, and just being focused. Block out the noise, focus. Everyone has something to prove. Right now, as you all know, the rest of this season, NFC East. This right here determines it all. It determines it all. So it's a lot of football still left to be played, but these games are equally critical. Right? Here's the reality. The Cowboys are the first in the division currently. They're first. If they lose, they'll still be, only a game ahead, right? What can Washington do? What can Washington do? I am looking at this from the perspective of how the offense can respond to a defense with Micah Parsons. And I know Micah was limited in practice, right? But Micah Parsons, the rookie linebacker, is tremendous. Trayvon Diggs. They got a few players coming back from injury. So this is key. Anxious to see how Scott Turner calls this game. This isn't the same Dallas team that Washington played twice last year. It's not the same team. And one of the reasons why it's not the same team that Washington played last year is because of Dak Prescott. It's because of Dak Prescott right there. So how will the defense respond in reference to a Dak Prescott? It all remains to be seen in how folks show up on Sunday, ready to roll. Everyone knows this team, the Washington football team, is dealing with quite a few injuries. Quite a few. But so far, the depth players on this team have been showing up and showing out. But can they continue to do that against the current number one seed in the NFC East? It's important for me to say current because those things could change rather rapidly. It's bold prediction time, folks. Before we close out the show, absolutely want to hear and see your bold predictions for the game. What is going to happen? Is it realistic for a blowout? What's realistic? Hopefully Antonio Gibson can continue to hold on to the football and have more dynamic games on the ground. Is this the game that Terry McLaurin starts to show all the way off? And Taylor Heineke is hitting them accurately to make sure people understand and stamp why he should be listed as one of the elite receivers in today's game. I'm seeing all of the bold predictions coming through. Seeing all of them coming through. It's going to be a good one for certain, right? I think both teams will get ready to play, and I'm loving the fact that it's all about getting some turnovers. I'm ready to see the defense score some points. I think they absolutely deserve that after the way they've been playing. Get some pick sixes out there on Dak. Why don't you? 14 points from the defense alone. That'll be my bold prediction for you all. All right, you guys. We made it. Another edition of Coaching from the Couch, the DC Sports Update, down in the history books. You all continue to share this show, like and love the show. Catch the show on TV Fridays 1:30 to 2 and 2 to 2:30. If you have Verizon Fios, it's channel 11. If you have Comcast Xfinity, it is channel 77. You all be blessed. And I will see you guys soon.
You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From DG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from a hometown perspective. Nats, Redskins, Mystics, DC United, Washington.